Howdy folks, welcome back to Exeter's Lab. Okay, today we're going to look at troubleshooting the Mp3 mod for radios. If you've done a few, you'll notice that it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Sometimes nothing comes through, and sometimes the volume's really low. And I've come up with a solution, and it seems to work okay. And what I thought initially was there's just not enough power coming out of this thing. Not a lot of output, and to be honest, that's what I expect. And I thought, well, we need to amplify the signal. So what do? And I did a bit of scratching around on the internet, and I found this. So the Prechamp preamplifier. And it's here for you in Australia, you know JCar, and I guess if you're in the States, Radio Shack. Anyway, I chose this. It was cheap, $10. As you can see there, I don't know if you can read it. It says it can provide a gain in excess of 40 decibels, and it operates from a DC power supply of 6 to 12 volts, and they're pretty easy to come by. Everybody certainly has got battery chargers at home, and this one's a 12 volt old Netgear one, and I'll just use this for testing purposes. So let's just revisit the output on this radio with the Mp3, and I'll just turn the radio on. Give me a second. Okay, lighting up. I'm just being the antenna. Be the antenna. Be the antenna. The first Aboriginal man to win the Storm Gift of his privilege. You just go off station. Now that'll be quite enough. Turn the Mp3 on. Attach our earth wire and output. So I go straight to, I'll just turn the player on, get a song going. Here we go. I'll just zoom down here. As you can see, I've just gone straight to the output terminal, so I'm bypassing the pot, and that's as loud as it gets. I mean, you can hear it, but certainly I want it to be a bit louder. And my player is at maximum volume. So, turn that off. Let's see if that little preamplifier is going to work, and there it is. So I put that together yesterday, and I hope I've done it correctly. I haven't tested it yet, and that's what this video is about too, I guess. But I'll set this up on a little stand and have some wires, some jumpers, and we'll run the unit Mp3 through this, through its output, straight to the volume pot, and we'll see if we can get a greater increase in volume. So just bear with me. Right, well, that's all set up. Now I'll just zoom into the unit. So power supply positive, negative of the power supply there. That's the output, the yellow, and that's going straight to the output of the volume pot. I've taken another ground point off the board and whacked it onto the chassis. So that leaves us now with connecting up our MP3 player. And I'll take this back. And turn the radio back on. Let it warm up. Just be the antenna again. When I can hear something. Okay, and the other thing I'll do is I'll plug the power supply in for the preamp. So that should be working. And let's just connect the input. Make sure it doesn't touch anything it shouldn't. And whoa! Well, that was full volume, and it still is full volume. I'm just playing with the volume on the MP3 player. There we go, and a success. So, just take that off. So, excellent solution for it. That's just one solution for units that radios that just don't have the oomph in them to process the MP3 signal. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'm just going to mount that, and I was thinking I'll just lift that up, mount that up here, and I've got a couple of holes I think down there for the jack and the switch, and I'll show you how I will connect it up. But suffice to say, that's a $10 solution, and it resolves the sound problems for this particular radio anyway. So I'll just start putting things together, mounting the board up, and then I'll get back to you. Right, so what I'm up to, first things first, the power supply, which I'm going to mount inside the onto the chassis, and if you can see, I've drilled a couple of holes, soldered on power wires, and a bit later on these two wires will go to the on-off switch, and well, the red one will, and the black will go to the neutral terminal. So I'll just get some shrink tube over those, and I'll show you when it's mounted onto the chassis. Right, well, there's the power supply. It's all shrink tubed, nice and insulated, and I've chosen this particular spot in here. It seems to be out of the way of most things, and I don't think, no, it's not interfering with the tuning gang. So it sits in there, unobtrusive. I mean, when you look at the back you'll see it, but again, that's no big deal. And there's a great big gaping hole in the chassis just in front of it, so all the wires can go in there, and I'll route them to where they should be. And of course, it's a zippy tie thingy, and that'll just go around there, and hopefully that would hold on. So let's have a look. It's going to fight me. I don't think so. Well, that's solid as a rock. So that part's done. And what I'm going to do now is get the soft ready and connect these power wires up to the on-off switch. So just back in a sec. Okay, so these are power wires coming from the charger, and just managed to sneak them, squash them around behind the output transformer. There's some positive, or active, sorry, and that will attach to the output of the on-off switch, because there's our mains coming in, and the switch of course just simply cuts the flow of current from there to there. Turn it on, current flows, and that will turn the battery pack on. And of course the black lead's our neutral, and there's our main neutral wire coming out of the power cable, and I'll just solder that, cut that to size and solder it there. So get on with that. Okay, I've cut the wires and should be able to get that around there. No, my hands are in the way, but hopefully get it to stick. Not having much luck here. Okay. Just get a bit of solder in there. And that's on. Let's just add a bit of continuity on that. And from there to there, that's running, where's it running to? There. And that's all good. There's our neutral wire. Oh God. This is going to be difficult. Got all sorts of wires. Looks like the earth wire needs some looking after. Actually, let's tin this if I can. Getting there. Old wire. Don't know why you use it. Stop. Just about there. And as I said, the earth wire. Didn't do too good a job on that. And that's fixed. Let's have a look. Yeah, got continuity. That's good. What about neutral? Let's have a look. Top there. That looks okay. Alright, that's power supplied. That's good. Okay, now I'll get around to mounting the little board. And I've already started putting earth wire onto it. I decided that I'll put it there. Seems to be the best place, easy to get to. And next step, before I mount it, I'll solder on some wires I'll need for input for the power, etc, etc. Makes it just a bit easier to connect up the components there. So back soon. Alright, well, excuse me, I'm progressing. Here's the input jack, and all I've done is grab myself some wire and join them across the two input terminals. 10k resistor also soldered into there, and of course it goes to the other end, goes to the earth for the chassis. So there's our 10k impedance. In this case I'm not using 1 ohm resistors because I don't actually have to connect this to the switch, as the output signal will come out of here. Mp3 signal will come out of there and go straight into the preamp, into its input socket or input terminal, and the output will go to the output of the preamp will go into the switch, one of the terminals on the switch. So I will mount these up, and I'll come back when that's done. Okay, so far put the standoff in, the input jack and the switch all drilled in. Here's the preamp and some wiring already done there, and hopefully I've measured it all correctly. So mount this up and start to connect it all up. And I would show it, but my hands are going to be all over the place, and you're just not going to see it. But I'll just go through it. I'll go through it all once it's done, so it won't be long. Okay, so far so good. Preamp is mounted. The power supply from the battery charger is in place. The yellow wire is signal input, blue wire signal output to the switch, so we can switch between Mp3 and radio, and a couple of earth, and one earth wire here. Everything's looking good so far. Now all I've got to do is to lift off the radio signal and connect that to the other terminal of the switch, and of course the output will go to the volume control. Now I'm not going to, sorry, you can't see it down there, so yeah. Well, here's our wires. Here's our input wire, signal input, signal output from the volume control, running through a shielded cable, and it runs up to this terminal strip. So they're both brown wires, so all I've got to determine, one of them comes from here to the pot, and the other one, there is this position here. on the terminal strip. So I've simply got to find out which is which, and do that by buzzing out the wires. So, and let's see, was it this one? Yes, it is. That's our signal input, and it's coming out of the IF can. And our output is here, runs through a little coupling cap, through some resistors, and into the IF valve. Okay, so I'm going to be lifting that wire. No point in lifting there, running a long wire all the way up to the switch. So we'll use shielded cabling as much, and just a short wire from there to there shouldn't create too much signal bleed into the wire, well, I'm hoping anyway. Anyway, I'll start that, measure some wire out, and yeah, I'll come back. Again, I'll show you, but you're not going to see anything. Okay, all the wiring is done. It's a bit of a mess, but again, here's our Mp3 input. Yellow wire goes to the input terminal of the amp. The output of the amp is the blue wire, goes to our far terminal of our switch. The radio input comes off here, that terminal there, straight into the closest terminal of our switch. And the output, which is our common terminal on our switch, goes to the brown wire, which goes through all that shielded cable and runs all the way down to that point there. Right, well, it's all done. I'll just hope it works. That I've done everything properly. And who knows what'll how long it'll take to find it if I haven't. Let's connect the aerial. And turn up the Variac. I know, I still use a Variac, just feel comfortable with it. Alright, full power. Globe lights are on. Let's see what happens. I've got it switched to radio. Oh yeah, works good.
The protesters initially gathered in a car park next to the Norfolk Plaza shopping centre before moving to the nearby park. Former Carlton coach David Parkin has reported being hired and sacked by then President
Alright, now, can I kill it? Yep.
Brother over the Federal Liberal Party died in
So that's working.
Following a brief illness. The President of the Senate, Scott
Final
Ryan,
test.
forward his retirement from politics.
Our Mp3 player.
Says he'll leave Parliament, before Parliament resumes on the 18th of October. And Melbourne Demons coach Simon Goodwin says a trip
So
to
we'll
the
just
beach
turn this
has
on.
helped him relax ahead of tomorrow's grand final at Perth Stadium. Goodwin is aiming to be the first coach to guide the Demons to premiership glory since Norm Smith in 1964. Showers easing for Melbourne tomorrow.
And what's this? Something called Yosemite. And let's turn the volume up.
The Gallows program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilkes. The orchestra of the program.
Volume control's working well. Well, it's certainly loud enough now. It's another one.
When you were a young kid, did this ever happen to you? The family would sit down to some special dessert, but you weren't allowed to have any. Remember how
What's this? Fu Manchu. Good stuff.
Based on stories by Zach Roman.
Okay. That's enough for that. I'll turn the volume down.
about this afternoon is, of
Well,
course, yes, Sporting Tish.
luckily, I was able to it works, and I'm pleased about that. There's not much to it really. Again, I just took a punt on the preamp, and look, it just works splendidly. Couldn't be happier, and it just boosts up that the little signal we get out of here. Of course, we don't have to use it for every radio, but anyway, that's one solution for low volume with your MP3. Now, I've got another radio with another problem to show you, and I'll put this away now. This is finished, and I'll come back with the next troubleshooting tip. Okay, I'm back. Now, important tech tip. Here we go. The power pack, which I had placed up the top there, I had it right next to the tuning gang, and I put the chassis back in the case, turned it on, and I had all this strange high frequency interference between stations, and I could only pick up the strong stations. And it occurred to me, what if it's the power pack? So I disconnected it from the mains, as you can see there, and turned it back on. Everything's back to normal again. So I'm going to relocate the battery charger around where the power transformer is. So I just thought I'd let you know that. I've actually, all the ones I've done with a preamp, I've always put the battery pack generally around where the transformer is, but this time I just had a neat little spot for it up by the tuning gang and by the detector valve as well, although that's a metal valve, so that's shielded, that should be okay. Yeah, this is the first time I've done that, and it created all sorts of interference problems, so I just wanted to let you know. Well, I've repositioned the power pack, and it's now sitting snugly behind the power transformer, and it was a bit of a job, but the interference has stopped. As I did find out, I've got another power pack, and I just plugged it in, and while the radio was running I placed it near the tuning gang, and no interference at all. So obviously a cheap and nasty one that I've got there, but it's right away from all the sensitive parts. It should be okay. And there's all the wiring again, just rerouted them based upon different position, and that's just done. I'll put the metal plate back there. I guess that stops some sort of interference. Not that I've noticed any normal interference with or without it. But anyway, let's power it on and let's give it a test. When I make these changes, I don't test them. I wait until it's done, then I'll put it on video. So if something should go wrong, we capture it. Need an antenna.
Your one-stop shop for window and door replacement.
Oh, that's quite good.
1377 AM and stereo DAB.
Good reception for 1377. And MP3 player. Where are we? There. Oh, yes. Will this work? It's the cable. It's had it.
Honey, honey, touch me, baby. Honey, 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 hold me, baby. Honey, honey,
Okay, that's good. Well, this cable's had it. Yeah. That's a pity. Alright, so that's done. I'm thankful it works. I've had enough of this radio. Right, now that pardon me. Now that this is done, I'll get to the next example of troubleshooting MP3 mods. Right, here's my second example of troubleshooting MP3s mods. Got a very nice little late 1930s air player made by Breville and sold by Myers here in Melbourne back in the day. And the case is in extremely good condition, almost near mint. And what I'll do is I will take it out of the case and I'll show you the issues I had with this one. So give me a few minutes. Okay, so here we are, and I forgot there's an inspection sticker just here, so this is 38. Anyway, I powered it up, as I will do now. Well, I'd recap first, of course. Got all that going. And get my MP3 player.
Adam Ramanas, like Cameron Ling, has been on the premiership days and grand final days a big part of your life as well, growing up, Rama. Yeah, absolutely.
When I can untangle all these wires.
Thank God we are here. A little scare just over the last couple of days in WA.
And bear with me.
It's always been a big day. You know, my dad told me the story of 1982.
So MP3 player, all my wires, my signal, my earth for the chassis.
As a 10-year-old, when Collingwood broke their
And
premiership drought, I
let's
was
get
a
it running.
supporter as a kid, but I tried to con my mum into buying me a Collingwood
So just
premiership football.
go off station, and here's a volume control. Nothing. Oh, I've got some noise. And nothing. So no matter what I did, nothing would come through. And I found out that this isn't a volume controlled, or sorry, a volume pod as we're all used to. It's a rheostat. And I did a bit of scratching around on rheostats, and one explanation was it's a voltage divider. Okay, either way, it allows signal. It's a resistor. And it just allows signal in and out.
Stayed into the car. We had to go in the queue to get up after about 3.5 hours.
And it's faulty. When I go to full volume, off it goes.
You couldn't wipe the smile.
So I'm going to have to get another one.
For days after that. I've got to be honest.
I did try a normal volume pot. That didn't work. But anyway.
And I know it's not all about Melbourne. But the grand final.
Let me turn the volume down. So I thought, okay, this is different. What am I going to do? So I decided I'm going to start probing and get the multimeter all hooked up. I think you can see it. Stick it on DC, volts, and I did my best to follow it around. I'm just seeing that's the input, that's the output. And we're going around here, and so it's somewhere around here. And I'm looking for, I think you can read, no you can't. Read the, I'll hold it up. So I'm looking for low voltage, so I've got minus 15 there, 141 there, won't be touching that. 220 volts there. Oh yeah. Anyway, I'm looking for millivolts or negative volts. So far, it's a lot of voltage. And then I happen to come across, not sure, let me raise the camera up. Move the light. Try and zoom in. Okay. And I found this, which reads at, well, where is it? Let me tell you, minus 360 volts. And I thought to myself, okay, well the last thing I want to do is plug my MP3 player onto a line where we've got 1, 2, maybe 300 volts. What I then did with my MP3 player, so here's my signal wire coming out of it, and I simply put a small capacitor. I'll just zoom out. Let me just go get it. I got it. So I got a small 0047 capacitor and just put it in line with the MP3 player. Grab another jumper cable.
But it is also a very long day and a tiring day. That when you played,
And now I'm ready to start probing or testing with my MP3 player, because that little capacitor rated at 630 volts, that will certainly protect this. And I have burnt one before when I inadvertently touched the wrong wire. So I'm much more careful now. Anyway, I'll turn that on, take it off station. So my MP3 player is playing, and let me just attach that. Oh.
I go a little faster and it's feeling kind of nice. Once ain't enough, so I have to do it twice. You want to spank the monkey? I can give you good advice. Hey, masturbator.
So that's pretty good. And what I did, so I found that, sorry, let me be clear on this. So I thought to myself, okay, that's pretty good. I can jump off that line and straight into my MP3 jack. And in this particular instance, just to rather be safe than sorry, I added a small 0047 capacitor in line just to protect this. Now, I've done this on a few radios where I've found where the volume control the volume pot, nothing's coming through on the MP3. So by determining, yep, I can use that line, I'm not getting hundreds of volts. Okay, negative volts seems to be fine. And it's been working quite well. And as you heard, it's pretty loud indeed. So what I could, of course, do, you might think, well, why don't you just route that through the volume pot? Well, I tried that, and the rheostat just didn't like it at all. And I suppose I could take the rheostat, just position it somewhere down here, and run a line to a normal volume pot, and that should work. But in this case, I decided not to. So look, this is a fairly quick example. Hope it makes sense. If you've got any questions, just send me a message. But as you can see, it works quite well. And I didn't bother with a switch on this one, because I thought to myself, well, why? All I've got to do is turn it off station.
Self-warming blankets, and it's a brand new feature.
Let me get my...
Which make themselves. Now, if you'll just step this way through the library, we can see the latest in talking book reading.
Right, and you think, oh yeah, but you know, there's no volume control on it. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to get up and, you know, play with my MP3 player. Well, no, you don't have to. Tell you what, go get yourself one of these. Little Bluetooth dongle. And plug that in there. And if you've got your mobile phone, or if you've got an old one like I have, don't use this. I just emptied the memory as much as I could, and I filled it full of songs and radio shows. So paired the two up, and I just sit back on the chair and I'm playing around with this and listening to the radio. And I'll give you a quick demonstration. So we'll turn this thing on. By the way, I got this off eBay. It was like $5, you know. Oh, and this. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Samsung player. Okay, let's play the Zoot.
Let's hope we can anyway. We're going to rock it, baby. Rock it.
You've got your volume control.
He's at 26 and a half past 10. Always worked with that reggae sound. It's always been popular and exploited. That's not the right
There,
word.
so
Bit too severe.
it works really, really well.
Has certainly been used.
And there's nothing better than actually just sitting down and listening to your favourite tunes or whatever, and your mobile's a remote control. Beautiful. And okay, we'll switch that off. So they're the two methods I use to get around: one, low volume, and two, absolutely nothing coming through the volume pot no matter what you do, even with a preamp. In this case, these are the only two problems that I've ever encountered, and I've overcome all of them, and they seem to be the same problem. But if I tell you what, if you've found something else, hey, let me know. I'd be really interested to find out what it is and what you've done to overcome it. So guys, that is all about my troubleshooting MP3 mods on a radio. Hope you found it interesting, and I'm going to go and put this back together. And I'll be back, no doubt, with another radio very soon. Okay, thanks guys, bye.